you're always telling me also in our private conversations, hey, every company actually, or not every, you don't say every, you say most companies, when they start with an idea, they should start with an MVP.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah. So the idea behind building an MVP first is it's the first experiment for your business model, right? So if you've come up with an idea and the business model is unique, or you want to test out a market, the MVP is the most cost-effective way of doing that. And the idea here is that you want to get your product in front of customers and generate revenue as quickly as possible, because that is the only kind of validation that matters, right?
Yeah, so I do understand, but what I am always like have a problem with that is that we have two ways of doing that, right? We have let's say we have an app which can where you can go shopping, and where you can go search for items. Let's just make it very simple. I mean, there are millions of that, but like shopping and search for items.
Sure.
So now I built an MVP where I only built like the search for items function in, and not the shopping function. And now I test it on the market and it flops. But it would maybe have worked with the shopping function. Am I really validating my product when I have like a very and most products have like 500 ideas in their product to really start. Can I validate this with an MVP?
Well, it depends, right? So the way to approach this is to figure out what problem you're trying to solve, right? What is the critical problem that you're trying to solve? And then what is the flow that is required to solve that problem? So if the problem that you're trying to solve requires search and then shopping, then that has to be included in the MVP.
I see.
So the idea behind the MVP is not like a half product, right? The idea is that it's polished, it's robust. It may not have all of the bells and whistles, but the problem that it's trying to solve, it solves really well. And that's what we're trying to build here, right? So there are multiple terms for this. Some people call it minimum sellable product, MSP, or MLP, minimum lovable product. But the idea is the same. It's something that's good enough that you can bring to your customers, that your customers will pay you for, and that it solves the problem that it's designed to solve.
Okay, and how do you help? Do you help founders when they come to you to find this?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. We have an entire process where we really go drill down into who the target audience is, what problems trying to be solved, what their user experience is going to be like, what needs to happen on the app to delight that user, and parallelly cut out all of the things that are not directly related to either increasing revenue on the product or increasing retention, or some things that may not be like the most, the right things to work on at that point of the process.
Okay, so you are not only a development company in this case then, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're more like a rocket for startups?
Sure, yeah. It's a venture studio, venture builder. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Okay. So when it comes to your clients, what would you say is the most valuable thing you personally, not Byldd, you personally, Ayush, bring on the table for your clients when you work with them or when they work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's my experience, right? It's like this, the work we've done, the work I've done with a bunch of different early stage companies in my career, the incredible amounts of learning I've had when we scaled 6+ from 300K to 10 million, and all of the earned secrets that it brought. So that experience, I think, is really valuable for the founders we're working with, and they've really benefited from it.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, I know you quite a long time now. So for me, one thing is what I never ask you, I think, is how do you personally balance speed versus quality in app development, right? So I mean, we have two things. First of all, if you run as a business, you run your costs on a month.
Yeah.
Because your developers, you have a monthly salary, your products, whatever you use, your subscriptions, what you need to have cost monthly.
Sure.
So having things done in a certain amount of time is better for the business for you.
Yeah.
But obviously, sometimes quality is a problem when you go faster.
Yeah.
So how do you balance this? Like, how do you manage to balance this?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that we do to really accelerate development and reduce the time it takes to launch products is we have built our own proprietary AI tools, right? And we've been working on this for the last 5 years, so way before ChatGPT and the new AI revolution. And what that does is that it really eliminates the need to spend human time on most of the generic pieces of functionality on a product, right? So for example, if you're building a SaaS product, it's going to need authentication. So that's login, sign up, resetting your password, all of that stuff. It's going to need administrative dashboards. It's going to need payments. It's going to need like a bunch of these kind of standardized features. So we've built modules that we can just plug and play into the app, so we don't spend any human time on it. So that reduces the time. And then we have a very strict quality control process, right? So we have multiple rounds of QC. The engineers already, like, because we've been working with them for so long, already know the kind of quality we're expecting on the app. So generally, like, it's not really too much of a challenge to balance the two and get that level of output.
Okay, and I mean, AI is a topic I definitely want to talk about a little bit later also on. But back to you again, what I would like to know is, especially in the terms of leadership, you said you have 86 people right now.
Yeah.
So how is this? It's a big company. I mean, 86 is huge.
Yeah.
So how do you manage leadership? How do you manage have everything like everything of value for the clients into the head of all of your 86 employees?
Yeah, I think I mean
that's a bad question again.
No, I don't think it's a bad question. I think it's a complex question.
Yeah,
there's
complex,
like very, like, I could talk on this for like hours. But if I had to summarize, I would say it's culture.
Yeah.
Right? We have to have the kind of culture where the team understands what we're about, what we're trying to do, what the overall objective is. And if the engineers and the QA team can think about it from a perspective of like, hey, the goal isn't to push out this feature, the goal is to make sure that this business is good enough for the client to make money off of.
Yeah.
Then everything tends to fall in place around that. But there are lots of systems, processes, lots of things that are in place to make sure that consistently happens, that new people get trained on the culture. Like, yeah, I could talk about this for
sure.
hours.
Well, let's talk about culture a little bit. So speaking about culture, how would you describe culture in Byldd?
One thing we've tried hard to put in is this idea of collaboration. And so generally the team is very welcoming and supportive of new team members that are coming in. Everybody's treating like the objectives of the company as a collective goal, and there is very like there's no we don't tolerate things like office politics and stuff like that at the organization, right? So it's a very friendly, welcoming culture, supportive culture, and it's a culture of responsibility, right? So everybody understands that they have a certain responsibility to the organization, to their colleagues, to the founders that we're working with, and they take that very seriously. So I think that's generally, like, high level, how I would describe the culture at Byldd.
So how do you keep your team aligned with the mission of helping founders?
It's a combination of a couple of things. I think at a fundamental level, this has to come from the ground up, right? So it has to be, from the people who are interacting with founders on a daily basis. It's the people who are working on the code of the applications that we're building. At the same time, there's an element of direction setting from the top. So one, I think, is accountability, right? So the objectives are made very clear. And then what we do is we give engineers a lot of autonomy.
Yeah.
So like, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what the goal of the business is. let them execute on that, and then check in on them once in a while to make sure that they're going in the right direction. And what we found over time is that by doing it this way, it really builds a tremendous amount of ownership. And that is what basically keeps everybody aligned, because once they have that, they get promoted to be managers, and then they make sure that that same kind of culture and mindset is carried on to the people that they're now leading. And it has allowed the company to scale to the size that it has so far.
Cool. And so, I mean, when we have those points, you have obviously also to celebrate sometimes wins, right?
Yeah.
For clients, for the company itself. So how
Yeah.
do you celebrate wins?
Yeah, that is a challenge, you know, because we're a fully remote organization.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. That is tough. So we do like lunch meetings where we get everybody lunch, and then everybody gets on like a video call and we chat and have fun. We have our annual company offsite. So what that means is that we'll fly out the entire team. We'll book out a resort, and we'll just spend 3-4 days there, just doing a little bit of team building activities and some strategy sessions, but majority just like having fun, playing, some sports, whether it's cricket or tennis or swimming, and having drinks, having fun, in the evenings and stuff. So that's a really, really fun once a year activity that everybody looks forward to.
Very, very nice. Okay, so we know already now a lot how you see Byldd, how you build.
Yeah.
How did you come up with this name?
Oh man, I got a client. I started working with a founder, and I didn't have an incorporated company, and so I had like basically 24 hours to come up with a name and start the company and like take that project, so it was like really, it's the only thing that was like semi decent at that point, and we just ran with it.
Okay. So no real background, no history.
No, it's not like some deep meaning, it's just like, shit, I need to sign this like document, I need a name to put in there.
I mean, yeah, that's like maybe a good story. Yeah, from time to time we need also stories which are like real and not now, back then my grandfather. And that's like the typical story you hear in these interviews, where it's very refreshing to have to have the truth once in the time.